Right?
All right. So how do we start this? How just introduce ourselves?
No, I got you.
Okay.
Right. So, welcome to the YMI podcast, where we figure out why we are. Yeah. This is our first episode. Well, my first episode during this podcast, and as you can see, I got this set up and I got my guest. I'm DayWonReg, and this is Abi. Hi. She's a
Hello.
friend. So today, we're just going to talk about some things, and hopefully people can give us questions later on that we could come back to. She'll probably be on the podcast again later.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, it's called the YMI podcast. It kind of looks into the people we are, not really what we like to do or how we like to do things, but it's more about why do we do things and why do we believe certain things are the way they are. So like I said, today we have Abi on today.
Hello, everyone.
So, just let us know what you do and like who you are.
I don't even know where to start. Well, I'm 23, just recently graduated from nursing school. Finally got a job. Well, I was from Virginia Beach. Then I moved to Japan for a couple years, came back, and now I'm basically just starting my adult life.
All right, you did move. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty interesting because I moved to like at the beginning of high school, and I moved to Georgia for a year and a half to 2 years, and it was pretty weird. I mean, especially at the beginning of high school, because like that's when you have all your friends from middle school and you kind of just established your social group. And I remember leaving and I was like really mad about that.
Especially Georgia, like.
Yeah, exactly. Like not that it was in the middle of nowhere, Georgia, but it was like, it's just new. And
Transitions,
then, yeah, it was totally different scene down there. And that's when I just started getting, I guess, my peak in dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how was that for you? I mean, this is Japan. That's all the way across.
So when did I move? I was in middle school. This is my first year of middle school. So this is when you're just first, like, what is it called? Just figuring out your friends and stuff. I had a lot of good friends from elementary school, and it just sucked because I didn't know what to expect. This is my first time having, like, a big move. Like, we've moved before, but it was just within the city. So this one, it's like, of course I was ignorant. I was like, oh my god, I'm going to be in Japan wearing uniforms and shit. I'm going to be roaming the valleys with Inuyashas and Naruto running. Like, stupid shit like that.
Right.
But, like, actually being there, because we were on an American base, so nothing was too different. But I don't know. I didn't have the culture shock a lot of people had. Like, I was able to adapt, maybe because I was still young. I was, like, into everything. I was like, wow, I want to learn about this, that. And, of course, being on the American base, there's still the American side of things, so it made the transition easier. And I was there for, like, 5 years. So I did a lot of my growing up there. And
I see.
when did I move? I moved, like, in the middle of my senior year, too, back to
Yeah,
Virginia
yeah.
Beach. So
Well, I guess that'd be more on what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Then. So how was that then coming back?
I don't know. It was just such a weird transition because when I came back, I mean, of course, I'm not going to expect Japan. Like, everything's different. I don't know. Everything I saw was like, ugh, gotta drive everywhere. Because in Japan, you can just walk anywhere. I could walk to, like, the shopping strip from school, and it wasn't, like, that bad. I didn't have to worry about, like, a lot of crime.
Right.
Stuff like that. And, like, even the food there is, like, it was much healthier. The portions are smaller. It's just everything was more convenient in Japan. But here, it was just, like, everything was a hassle. Even, like, just getting to school was a hassle because I couldn't drive at the time. Only because in Japan, if you were to drive on base, you have to be 18. And I moved when I was, like, 17. So
Right.
that was the shitty thing. So, I mean, it wasn't too bad, but it's like, I felt like I had culture shock coming back, because I had, I always tell this story, there's this one person in my English class, I remember it, like, clearly, the teacher, mentioned how we came from Japan and all that, and then the girl next to me was like, oh, you came from Japan? I was like, yeah, and then she was like, so do you listen to K-pop? And then I was like, I fucking hate this, bring me back to Japan, I fucking hate America. No, but yeah, it was just weird, because yeah, that's one thing I noticed when I came back. Even like all my other friends from Japan and Korea, even Guam, when they moved all stateside, we realized Americans have like, not all Americans of course, but most Americans have like this weird obsession with K-pop. I mean, nothing's wrong with it, but I've never really heard, or I don't know, there was not a lot of K-pop talk back in like Asia. So when we came back to America and just everyone's so hyped about it, we're just like, what the hell? Like, it was just weird. Like, I mean, to each their own, you know, maybe that's how they grew up, but it was just such a weird thing to see, especially my senior year.
Yeah, especially around that time. That's when K-pop kind of blew up around here. I remember that because I was the hater that didn't really want to get into K-pop. I mean, I like some songs, but I was just like, I don't really understand.
Yeah, like everyone knowing the whole group is like their age, their birthday. I was like, whoa. I don't know. It was borderline creepy to me, but I guess that's the culture. But
I mean, I guess it's not so different from like people back in the day with like NSYNC. Like they did the same thing. Justin McCartney.
True. That's true.
Yeah, that's why I just think it's funny because a lot of people stan K-pop so much that they kind of overlook other things. Like I remember I was in a dance class for TCC, and this one girl said that Koreans have the best choreography, and I was like, you know, their choreography comes from, first of all, it's Filipinos teaching them when they first started.
Who is it? Keone Madrid. He does like BTS's choreography or something like that.
And not even just to plug Filipinos, but also like especially Cali dancers.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you look at all their styles, it's Poos Pose. It's Brian Poos Pose.
Yeah.
And
my god.
Yeah, but about the culture shock thing, I was trying to say was like, that's probably weird because it's like you kind of want to feel at home because you used to live here, but then really you, like you said, you grew up in Japan.
Yeah.
Which is like, that kind of happened to me when I came back too from Georgia, because I came back by myself without my parents. So I mean, I had all my friends still, but they're all a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, like 2 years in high school is like 10 years now. You know what I mean? And like, I just remember, I mean, how was it? Do you remember going to Japan? I mean, I guess Japan's a little bit different because they kind of know what Filipinos are. Because when I was in Georgia, it's like people couldn't decide whether I was black or if I was Mexican.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, you are more of the darker skinned Filipino, so it's like, of course.
And I got the curly hair, and it was like no one knew what. I think there was one other Filipino girl in my class, and she was basically whitewashed for the most part. And like, because I mean, she didn't know any other Filipinos too. That's why, But I mean, from high school, you know, that's such a weird time growing up, and like, I think my problem, like, I feel like it was a little bit easier on you going, not easier, but like it kind of transitioned a little better because, like you said, you were still like growing up. You grew up in Japan. Like for me, when I was younger, I always wanted to be. All my friends were older than me, like 3 to 5 years to sometimes even 7 years older than me. So I was the 13-year-old hanging out with 18-year-olds. So like I just thought like, man, I figured it all out like at 13, because I mean I'm
just
also
because you have all those like figures you can look up to.
Yeah, and turns out like a lot of them were dumb. You know, like I was the one that was being the mature one out of all of us, because I thought I think it was like I felt like I thought I had to prove myself.
Yeah.
And I never thought that the stuff they did was a mature action. It was just more like, well, they're technically mature by age, but not really by
mind.
Yeah. So it was kind of weird because I remember in our group, like I was the one that was always sticking up for the guys, and I'm like the youngest one.
Dang.
Yeah.
That sucks. I mean, it doesn't suck. I mean, at least for you, it benefits you. But for everyone else, it's like, damn, this 13-year-old got to stand up for us.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing?
And then again, I was like 5'8" already when I was 13, so I was like pretty tall compared to everyone else who was like 5 foot basically.
Damn.
Yeah. So I mean, it was just pretty interesting because like I always think about that stuff like with people about how they grew up around, especially around high school, because it's really important. Because you see a lot of girls, especially Filipino girls, who were sheltered in high school, and now they're in college. They either go to
they're like acting out,
rebellion, like ridiculously crazy. Yeah.
Yes.
Which there's nothing wrong with. I get it. I get why they do that, and I get the release. But at the same time, it's like, one extreme isn't gonna correct the other extreme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I see that a lot, especially back in Japan, because where I lived, it was a really small community, and it's the same with you. Like, a lot of the seniors were friends with like middle schoolers, but it's like it was never anything creepy. I mean, there were times where it got creepy, but it was like everyone was very cohesive because it was such a small community. Like, the whole school was only 200 people, so you can imagine how close everyone got in. And what is it called? The middle school and the high school were also joined together. So a lot of classes, you might see a middle schooler in your like Japanese 3 class, and you're like a senior, and you're just like, what the hell? But yeah, there's like a lot of that. I know I'm one of those sheltered Filipinos. I mean, I wasn't as bad, but I've seen some where it's like one of my classmates, like she was also my neighbor. Her mom wouldn't let her wear like shorts or anything outside the house.
The skirts, the tank tops.
She had to wear like those long button-up skirts, everything. And then when she got to school, she would just change, and just so she can feel herself. And it just sucks. I don't know what happened to her now, but I hope she's better. I hope like she's able to do whatever she wants, because it sucks like having to be told you can't do this. Like, me and my sister are both still going through that right now, and I'm like, what, 23? I'm already graduated. I'm about to start a career, and my parents are like, make sure you're home by 12. And I'm like, bro, what the hell? But, you know, I'm still under the roof, so I have to listen to them.
Yeah.
But I feel more for my sister because my parents are, like, so strict on her, like, being out all the time. And I'm telling them she's doing a lot better than I did when I was a sophomore. Like, she's getting straight A's. She's already in ODU. I was struggling when I was in TCC.
Same.
So I'm just like, she's doing great. And it's like, because she's part of FASA. So
right.
It's like, you know how they always have those events? They're always saying, oh, you have to be home a certain time. But I'm just like, let her have fun. Let her enjoy her time. Because once she starts the nursing program, she's not going to have time like I did. Like, I barely saw my friends, like, for the past 2 years. Now I'm just, like, trying to catch up with everything. Like, oh, you guys want to hang out now? You want to hang out now? So, yeah, that's how my experience went when it comes to being sheltered and then having that release. But with mine, I feel like it's more moderated because it's like, I don't know. It just depends on how you take it. Because I know my parents did it so that way I can do things on my own. Because my parents do say this all the time. Like, I'm more independent than my sister because at home, I do what I need to do when I was, like, in college. Like, I would still do chores. I would still, like, do dishes, take care of the dogs, do laundry without being told. My sister, on the other hand, it's like, you still got to tell her to do things, and sometimes you really have to push her. So they were saying for me, they're glad they did it because I'm able to make those choices myself without having to be nagged. But now with my sister, since she was a little more sheltered and she's the younger one, of course, she's the baby, it's kind of harder for them to push her. So I don't know, it depends on how you take it, really.
Right. It was definitely different for me, like really different. Well, there's a couple of factors. Like, first of all, my parents are second generation, so I'm like a third generation Filipino here. And like I said, I was already like 5'8" when I was 13. So like I never really had, well, except for like school days, obviously, I never really had like a curfew. It was just more like, where are you? I'm here. Okay. That was it. That was literally it. Yeah.
It must be nice.
Yeah, like I would be like 3 a.m, and I'd be like, oh, I need a ride home. And they'd be like, oh, well, we're tired. And then I knew they were tired. I was like, they're like, can you just sleep there? I'd be like, I'm just going to walk home. They'd be like, are you sure? I was like, are you sure? Like, you going to allow me? I don't mind walking home. Are you going to allow me to walk home? And they were like, just be careful. You know, I was like, okay. And I'd walk home, and like literally 2 miles away, and I'm 13. Yeah. Like, I'd pass cops. I remember I was such an ass in middle school, though, because I would just like pass cops, and I'd just be like, hey. Like, and they just wave back because like I'm like a bigger guy, and they couldn't tell.
That's true. It's like, oh, is he really 13? Is he 18? What the hell?
Yeah, I used to tell people I was 18 when I was 13, but I stopped doing that when I was like 15 because I was like, that's kind of whack. Like, you don't want to be that guy, and then they're like, why are you still in high school? I thought you were 18 like 5 years ago. You know,
like, why are you still here? You're just now graduating.
Yeah, I used to be an ass when I was younger, like because you know everyone wanted to be cool, and I was like on my high of like dancing and like known as one of the best dancers in Tallwood and Brandon, and
that's when you want all the attention.
Yeah, and it feels good, and
exactly.
I just met like 3 girls the year before that I was talking to, not like talking like that, but like they were my friends, and I was like, oh, this is
cool.
Dope. Yeah.
Girls
like,
are talking to
me. Hey. You know, like, yeah, I'll go battle this guy right now for no reason, just because you want to looked dope, and then it was like I think that's eventually why I stopped dancing because like a lot of people just knew me just for that.
Dang.
Yeah, and
they didn't get to know you.
Yeah, and that really hit me, especially like I think the first time was he's my friend, but I know he meant it in good conscience, but he told me he was like, yeah, you're good at dancing, but he was like, honestly, you're just good because like you're bigger and like there's not a lot of good people here. And I started thinking, at first I thought I was not really mad, but I was like, I should be pissed at this, but I don't feel pissed. Why don't I feel pissed about it?
Because he's right.
Yeah, because he was right. Because like even I knew like, okay, I'm decent, but I'm not good. I went to out there and see who's good. And I was like, they're good. And they don't even say they're good.
Damn.
And despite whether they're big, small, Filipinos, short, you know, whatever, how old they were. And I was just like, yeah, he's kind of right. Like, not the whole, like, the specific way he put it, but more like, I'm nothing compared to what's out there.
Yeah. Like, especially if you go to California, you know that's where the big ones are at.
Yeah, and, like, I always thought about that, and I was like, I don't really want to be the best dancer. Like, that was never really my goal. Literally, the reason I started dancing was just to prove people wrong. Because that was, like, my big thing back in the day. Was just like, oh, I'm going to beat you. You know, I'm like,
it's like, let me just beat you. That's the only reason. It's like, I'm doing this just so I can beat you specifically.
Yeah, that's basically it. It was like, because like I said, I was like, I had older friends and I wanted to be the best. Not because I was like trying to shit on my friends, but it's like to prove myself, my worth to the group, to whatever.
Honestly, I think that's the best way to go about things, like doing stuff out of spite. Like when I first started doing like heavy lifting, I really like didn't have a passion for it, but because someone's like, oh, you just don't want to do it because you're a girl, and I was like, fuck you, I'm gonna do it. Now I'm like, here I am. I mean, I'm not like the strongest one, but I'm like, what's called, my deadlift's at like 235 now. I'm squatting up like 210, something like that. I don't know. I'm just dope. Like, compared to where I was before, I'm like, I'm trying to shit on these people. I was like, fuck you for saying that. And that's just from one person. No one else said that. It's just that one comment.
There's that one person. Like, in reality, they don't even really matter. It's just more like just the fact that it was said.
I know. I was like, fuck you, I'll do it. It's like, I don't know. That's the problem with me. I'm like, you know, I'm a Leo, so I like to take risks. Like, when someone says something, I'm just like, fuck you, I'll prove you wrong. So I don't know. To me, it's a great mindset, because what if they're like, oh, you're not going to get a great job, you're going to be not successful. It's like, fuck you. Yeah, I will. And then you just do it just because of that one person. But in the end, it's like, you kind of do it for yourself too. Yeah. So you better yourself. Like, I've been losing weight from it too. And yeah, like, sorry, I'm going to go on this whole spiel. Because like this summer, it was the best and the worst summer of my life, because I had to face so many failures with like the NCLEX. I failed the NCLEX for the first time, and so that really fucked me up, because I was like, damn, I'm like a failure. I don't know, because my parents were like so ready for it. My dad made me a license plate saying RN BSN, and I was like, yeah, you know, when shit
what
like
the
that.
Pressure, man.
I know. So my dad, like, I was so sad. So I failed the NCLEX. Of course, I had my failed relationship, and then I almost lost someone to suicide. I almost lost another friend because something I did. Like, I had too many losses within like that 3 months. So I was
close
just like,
calls and
yeah. So I was like really down. I was like thinking, oh my God, I'm shit. I'm not gonna be a nurse. I'm not a great girlfriend, or I won't be a good girlfriend. I won't find love. I'm a shitty friend because I let things get to me. Like, a lot of stuff was getting to my head.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, it's like, I don't know what happened, but there was like this one moment where I saw something and I was like, man, fuck everyone. I'm better than this. And then that's when I started like going back to the gym more, started studying every day, started cooking again. And then people were telling me, hey, you look different now. But I'm just like, what do you mean? It was like, you look happier. You look like you're glowing. And I'm just like, okay, that's weird. But no, it really helped, because then, like, it's weird. Everything at the same time, it's like I was able to talk to my friend that tried to commit suicide. Like, we're able to talk normal again. I passed the NCLEX. I'm able to talk to my other friend that I almost lost. And now we have, like, a way better relationship now. And it's just, life is good, because I finally got my nursing job, too. My parents are, like, happy for me. Like, there's like a lot of transitioning happening in my life now, and I'm just like, wow, I feel great. And like going to the gym, I finally reached my weight goal of 150 because I used to be 167. Like,
Oh, I'm glad.
yeah,
That's
like
great.
at the end of my semester, so around May, I was like 167. So I was like, wow. Like being spiteful is the only way I can like get shit done, which is really bad to say, but at the same time, it's like if it's what helps me, maybe it helps other people too.
Sometimes you need like that small focus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've done a lot. Like, what got me through TCC was the fact that my uncle, he was like, "Oh, you're never, he's never gonna get out." And I was like, "Fuck you, watch this shit."
Honestly, that should be a motto. Just fuck you, watch me.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good motto. Fuck you, watch this shit.
I'm gonna put that on my I can't put that on my license plate. My dad would get mad.
But yeah, it's just like, and it was so funny because it was like my last semester, so I knew I was gonna graduate. I just had to pass, and then I was like, "All right, watch ODU." I've got all that shit done.
Damn.
I was like, "I'm going to fucking ODU next semester." Like, suck my dick.
I'm saying, especially when it comes from like what's it called family pressures, that's when I feel like that's when it hits the most. Once family starts shitting on you, that's when you're just like, okay, first of all, you don't know me, and then you just like, I don't know. It's such a weird concept. It's like you think that, oh, positive feedback is like, yeah, you'll do it, we'll push you, but no, it's all that negative feedback that will really get you where you need to be.
Yeah. It's just insane, especially with your summer. Like you said, it was kind of hard, and it's like, coming back up from that. I'm starting to notice that. Well, not starting. I've noticed this a while, but it's just a lot of people are very different. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people subscribe to what you were talking about. It's kind of just like the whole focusing on yourself thing, and it's been kind of a weird thing for me my whole life because every time I do something, I always feel like I am doing what I'm doing, what I want to do. I'm not doing it for other people. Well, I mean, when I was younger, yeah, definitely. But like now, like a lot of people have told me you just need to do your own thing. I'm like, bitch, what have I been doing? You know what I mean? Like,
do you, boo? I was like, yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
what else can I do more? I'm already doing the best I can.
And people, I think what it is just people like just don't see that because a lot of people equate, like doing your own thing, just you just not giving a fuck. And I
feel like that's not a good way.
It's not. I don't believe so either. But it's just weird because that's what everyone thinks. Well, I don't want to say everyone. That's kind of fucked up. But
Most
it's just
people,
a lot of people think that. So they just don't give a fuck about what anyone says.
I mean, you should give a fuck sometimes because it's like, I don't know. From my experience, especially since it's been happening recently, I'm not going to call anyone out, but there's like, I'm concerned for one of my friends because she's just not with it right now. And she's like, her focus is on so many different things except herself. And I'm just like, yeah, there's like, oh, just fuck what other people think. Just do you. No, don't care about what people think because this will affect you at work, your lifestyle, everything. So it's like, you really need to know how to take certain things said to you. Like when people say, oh, do you? Yeah, do you. But it doesn't mean fuck what everyone thinks. Because maybe what they think might help you become a better person. I don't know. Not a lot of people think about it that way. They just want to think for themselves. And I mean, I get that. You want to be able to take control of your own life. But sometimes you need that feedback, like I said.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because like with people, like, yeah, you should care about what other people think. It's kind of like a lot of people have trust issues in who they want to believe and what they think about. And it's either, what I found is a lot of people, they either believe too much or they don't believe at all.
Yeah, it's like you have to find that good medium on how much you need to listen to and which you need to take with a grain of salt,
And it's just a little weird because like some people, they literally just take what they want. And they don't even really listen to everything else. So
they take what they want to hear, and they're like, "Okay, I'm good." But it's like, no, you're not good. You gotta listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like when someone like, like they what's that called? They intervene with their friends, like the situation. They'd be like, "Look, I'm not telling you what to do, but blah 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 blah." And then they don't hear the whole rest of the blah blah blah. They're kind of just like, well, you're right. You can't tell me what to do. It's like, okay, well, that was established. Yeah, that was established already. It's just like, at least want you to consider it.
Yeah, exactly. I had to do interventions with a lot of friends before, but it was so frustrating when they would just be like, yeah, I mean, I'm already doing that, or they would just bring up excuses. I mean, some of them were valid excuses, but it's like you can excuses can only go so far. Once you start doing something, then I'll try to help, but
Right.
I don't know. It was just so frustrating because having to like tell this person, hey, this is happening, and then they just bring up, oh, well, it's because I'm like this happened, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, but what are you gonna do about it? Like, I'm letting you know what's going on. I'm already telling you ways you could fix it, but all you're doing is giving me excuses. You're not telling me how you're gonna change it. You're not telling me what you're gonna do. Why am I wasting my time? I'm like, I want to be a good friend, but sometimes it's like you just can't help certain people.
The thing is, I think you doing that is you being a good friend. The fact that you're even checking up makes you a good friend. The fact that you tell them your opinion makes it not just what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Makes you a good friend. Like, it's not even a good friend. It's just a good person in general, which is not
right.
hard.
I'm just
to do.
being there for you. Like, yeah, anyone should be.
Yeah, and it's weird because a lot of people think that takes effort to do that, and that's like, well, it does, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like effort. You know, it feels like you're just doing what you're supposed to be doing. That comes natural, not like you're really going out of your way to figure out this friend's problem or like to, fix them in general. And that's not what anyone needs, is for someone else to fix them. It's really just like a support. Yeah, that's what a lot of people need, and a lot of people don't know how to do that, which is understandable. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people don't like admitting they don't know how to do that because they feel like a bad person. Which they're not, if you admit that.
Yeah, if you admit it and you say, like, I think that's the problem with a lot of people too. They just don't want to ask for help. I know I have that problem too. It's hard for me to ask for help. It's hard for me to open up. I usually like to do things on my own just because that's how I was raised. I was like, I'm used to doing this on my own. So when I do ask for help, it's like, it's different to me. But it does help in the end because you don't have all that burden on you. It's not like you're putting it on someone else. It's like someone else is helping you lighten the burden, you know?
Yeah, I'm a little bit that way too. Like, because mainly for me, it's just like a lot of it is like I should be able to handle my own shit, and at the same time, the other half is I don't want to burden other people. But then at the same time, when I do ask for help, I always feel like I get short-ended on it, and I think that's where it comes back to again. It's just the whole thing about people don't know what to do, and that's fine. Yeah. But a lot of people don't really admit that. They kind of just go back to like, you just need to do. It's like you ever ask people for help, and they get fed up. And they just go straight to like, well, you just need to do something. It's like I mean, my whole thing with like this year and like last year is like, I was like pretty sad the whole time, and like, I get like a lot of my friends can help me, and the thing is like I didn't really ask for help. I just needed people there, and at the same time, it kind of just felt like people wanted me to not be sad, but not necessarily tell me how to be not to be sad to actually help. It kind of just felt like, like if I was talking to some random stranger, if I went to some random stranger on the street and I said, like, hey, would you care if I'm sad or not? I don't think they would be like, I don't give a fuck. It's more like, yeah, I don't want you to be sad. And that's what it felt like. And it's weird because around these people who are supposed to be your friends and family even, it's just like, I mean, I get that you don't want me to be sad, but
it's like you can't do anything about it. It's like, I can't just stop being sad. It's like, oh yeah, I'm happy again. No.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't work like that. Like, that's how I was during the summer. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, people just think I was happy because I was traveling with my family and stuff, but it was like, yeah, I mean, I'm happy I was doing all that, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't mean like that fixed all the problems back at home.
Right.
So I don't know, some people just don't realize like just being a support, just like staying with someone, like you don't even have to talk about the problems and all that. Like say if you were sad and I was just hanging out with you, just talking about stuff just to distract you, I feel like that's like the minimum effort people can do. Right. You don't have to fix the problems. Like, I don't need you to like tell me all your burdens and then I try to figure it out for you. Like, sometimes you're not even asking for that. You're just asking, oh, can you just like stay with me for a while, and then so that way you don't feel alone physically too. Right.
Yeah, I used to be that guy in middle school where I would like listen to people's problems and literally tell them what to do. And I stopped doing that because one, no one really does what you say to do.
Exactly.
And then two, if they do and it goes wrong,
it's on you.
It's your fucking fault. Yeah, and I'm like, so I started doing this. I didn't even do that thing where, you know, a lot of people do now where they're like, oh, you should do this. But that's just me, though. I don't even do that anymore. I just talk to people and just be like, well, what do you want to do? And they'll be like, oh, well, I want to do this, but I know I should do this. I was like, well, then it sounds like you already know what you're going to do. Then you should probably do the thing that you think you should do and not what you want to do.
It's just they're so scared of the repercussions and all that. But it's like, you just got to do it sometimes. Some people are just scared to do it just because it's out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, and I get that. I get that too, but at the same time, it's so weird because people will take like the human element of us of not being able to do something and use it as like, I don't want to say it's an excuse, but like a cop out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, it's like the whole thing with like, I don't know, like what's something normalized that's weird, like side chicks and side dudes.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because it's being really normalized to the point where it's people's like, well, what did you expect?
And it's kind of like, that's kind of fucked up. I mean, unless it's like they agreed on it. I don't know. It's such a weird culture especially with this whole dating thing. Like, there's friends that are like doing boyfriend girlfriend things, but they don't want to say it's a relationship because they don't want to feel. It's so weird. I mean, I can't really say much because I've been in something like that before, but I don't know. Everything gets complicated.
To me, like, the way to not really, I don't want to say fix, but to remedy most of this stuff is literally just communication.
No, that's like a big thing.
That's that's the thing a lot of people are scared to do. They're like, it's not necessarily in the point of like to admit you're wrong or to admit someone else is right, which is like the big thing for people usually is to admit that they're wrong or to admit that someone else is right. It's more like, it's just, if you should value your own opinion to the point where you can, if you care enough about someone, you should tell them.
Yeah.
Not to the point where it's like they're gonna, you care about what someone else thinks so much or how something is so much that you would rather suppress your own opinion.
See, that's like another weird thing I noticed like a lot of people do. It's like that thing where it's like they act like they don't care but they really do. But there's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like two people, like say if you're texting someone, but you don't want to show that you care too much, so you don't text them as much and all that. And then it's like, you don't want to seem like you're so into them when they're not into you, stuff like that. And then it's kind of like, and then eventually you guys lose communication. I feel like that's something that shouldn't happen. Like, if you care about someone, go ahead and double text them, go ahead and triple text them, give them a call, but don't like overdo it though. Don't like do it like minute per minute or like, anything. I
feel like the bad thing about double texting is more about the checking in thing. Not really like just telling someone, because the way I text in fragments, like the way I talk.
Oh yeah, that's what I do too.
Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, because that's how I read it. It's like sentence. Wait, pause, sentence. Then,
yeah.
You know. So double texting is a little weird thing too. It's just, and it's kind of weird just to see people give into the whole social cliches or social, norms.
Exactly.
And use it, like I said, use it as cop outs, because it's just like, well, if that's the case, nothing I do matters. You know what I mean? If I'm subjected to social norms or anyone, then why does it matter what they do? And everything's predestined from the beginning. And then people are like, no, that's not what we mean, this, that. It's just this. I was like, it's what? And they'd be like, Yeah, and then they don't have an answer. And then I'm the asshole because I'm pushing for the answer. And they're like, well, just that's how things are. Because you can ask anyone from high school. I used to say this shit a lot. I hate when people be like, oh, that's life, or that's how it would work. And I was like, no. We as humans, we choose. And you agree to that. Everyone always agrees to like, we get to choose. That's why it's like, I don't have a lot of money right now. And everyone's like, oh, well, it's because you chose that. You need to choose. And I'm like, okay, I get that. So this is what I choose. But then it's like, why did you do that? It's like, well, I couldn't help myself, this, that. And I was like, no, you chose that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it's not even chose. You chose not to not do that. That's usually what it is with people. And people don't like admitting that. They don't like, I don't know. It's really weird. It's I've seen a lot of people save face and just hold on to things that they really don't need to hold on to, even if, especially because most of those things were just mistakes. It wasn't an actual intention, which is like, to me, that's the worst part. It's just like, if it was intended, obviously that's like the worst thing you could ever do. But most of the time it's just mistakes, and
it's like you didn't expect that to happen. You thought it would go another way, but
and it's like a lot of people nowadays don't know how to like sit with their punishment, which is why they don't make mistakes anymore, because they don't want to have to go through that punishment. They think the fact that they feel bad is enough punishment. And if that was the case, man, I've served a lot of punishment. You know what I mean? And like that guilt. Oh, speaking of guilt, I was watching. Sometimes I watch ASMR. I don't know why. Just because like I just do. It's just weird because I'll be working on something. I just need something to listen to, and I got tired
it's like
of listening.
Background noise. Or
yeah,
something.
I got tired of listening to music, and like because like I listen to music all day.
Yeah.
And I listen to the same 7 songs for a week, and then I go on to my next 7 songs. You know, and it's
my
just,
recently added.
Yeah.
just on repeat.
Usually it's like a mix between like 4 R&B songs, a Disney song, you know, some foreign song.
Right.
And I just practice singing all of those. But yeah, so I was listening to ASMR, and like there's this one thing she was saying, like it's like a mantra, and she was saying something like no amount of guilt will change the past, and no amount of worrying will change the future.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I just kept thinking about that, and I was like, that's true. Yeah, I get that. But the thing is, a lot of people, I know a lot of people, and they'll just think about it and be like, well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. So what you're saying is I shouldn't feel guilty, and I shouldn't worry. The shouldn't worry part is probably good.
Yeah.
But
the guilty part, it's kind of like,
It's like, no, it's just more like, the whole point of it is it's not going to change the past. So it's like, you can feel the guilt, but just know that that won't change. That past, that what happened won't change, which is what
it's like, it is what it is. Yeah. So.
Which is what I'm trying to get back to with like the whole people don't want to stand their punishment. You know, and I mean, I feel like I've done a lot of bad shit, which is like not compared to other people's, but at the same time, for myself, I feel like I've done a lot of bad shit. It's heavy
on you. No, it's the same with me. Like, I've done stuff I didn't like and thought wasn't me, and I'm still trying to like heal through it, because I'm just like, every time I think back on it, I'm just like, why did I do that? And it kind of affects me in the future a little bit too, because it's like, okay, if I were to make these choices again, will I be a better person?
Yeah, and that's like the big question. That's the podcast.
Exactly.
Like, am I going to be a better person? Or like, am I going to, not even a better person, it's like, am I going to be the person that I want to be, or like you want to be, or whoever, you know? And that's hard, because it's like the whole thing about like nurture versus nature, and like the whole, you're a product of your social surroundings. And it's just like, do you want to be a product of other people's intentions and,
God,
you know,
that's some deep
morals?
shit.
Yeah, and I've talked about this with a lot of other people. It's just the easiest way to explain it is like religion. It's like, are you in your religion because your parents were, or because you believe the religion?
See, that's how I was thinking about it at first, because I actually talked about this a lot in high school, like, because I would you know, of course, being Filipino, you're already in a Catholic faith, and growing up, it's like, oh, or you're going with your parents, and then you're get tired in church, you're not really listening. But when I was in Japan, there were times I would go to church without my parents, and it's like, maybe this is what I want to believe in, because my parents said I don't have to be like Catholic if I don't want to.
Wow, they're progressive.
You know, they're like, you know, my mom will still try to get me to go to church with them during like pivotal times. They're like, like during the NCLEX, it's like, Ate, you need to go to church so you can pass the NCLEX. I'm just like, okay, sure. But most of the time, they don't like pressure me to go to church if I don't want to. Usually, everything's by choice with me. And like, I haven't been to church in almost a year, and I just went back just this past Sunday, because I felt like, I don't know, it's with what just happened, like going through all that failures, I started praying again. I brought my mom's rosary to me to the testing center, and then the fact that I passed, I was able to, what is it called, just back to being myself, like see my best friend again after 6 years, like all these blessings. I'm just like, I need to go to church, because I'm pretty sure like I need to thank God for these blessings. And now it's like, I feel like I need to go, not that I need to go, but it's like I want to go back to church, because I'm like, I don't know. It's something that grew on me. Even when I was still young, it's just I haven't been going because of work and then school. But now that I have more time, I feel more comfortable going back to church and not feeling like I'm going because my parents are the ones that brought me there or anything like that.
No, yeah, I get that, and that's great that you found that for yourself, and that's what I'm trying to say is like, I feel like a lot of people don't find that. They just go with things, versus actually, like doing their own research in a sense, and that has to do with a lot of things too with their own life. It's like the whole back to side chicks thing. It's like why does everyone think that's a normal thing nowadays? It's not because it is a normal thing. It's because we've normalized it as people.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, it's okay to be a side chick. No, it's not okay. It's not okay to have a side anything. It's, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's just weird because it's like, I don't know. It's just really, it really bugs. This is the type of stuff I think about literally every day. And like, not even about specific situations. I just get bored. I'll be like, man, what if this happened? And I'll be like, yeah, I wouldn't do that. Exactly. Or something, and I'm not gonna lie, in the past I've had chances like, to be not necessarily a side guy, but in the situation.
You could have been, but
I'm not gonna lie, it's gone pretty far. But at the end I was like, yeah, we can't do this. And
good guy, Reggie.
Well, yeah, I mean I don't care, I care about if I'm okay, but it's just like, because a lot of me in that moment was like, yeah, fuck it, but then like at the end of the day, like I knew I was like, it's not gonna feel right. It's like, who cares? Like I don't give a fuck about sex like that, like to the point where it's like, yeah, fuck everything else. Like it's just like being a guy. First of all, that looks weird because then it could easily be taken as like, oh man, he took advantage of that girl.
Yeah, and you might get blamed for it.
And all that, and the whole thing, and I didn't want that to happen. Like that's hard. That's a hard thing.
Yeah, to get out of, especially.
Even if it wasn't my I don't know. This is the whole situation. It's just the point of like, see, it's already hard. It's already hard. And I did the right thing. Yeah, it's like it's hard to explain, and I did the right thing. Not saying the other person didn't do the right thing. It was just more like. See, it's just so hard.
It's a complicated situation now because it's like,
It's so hard because it's not everyone in a situation who's wrong is a bad person, but not everyone in a situation who's right is a good person either. There's always that middle ground, and that's my whole thing about saying like people not need, but it's like you feel better when you stand up to your punishment rather than excusing it with that's how things are, or you had no control.
Yeah. The
whole point is like a situation happened. And it's okay to feel bad about it. The whole back to the guilt thing. It's okay to feel guilty about it. But at the same time, it won't change the past.
Yeah. It's like, as long as you acknowledge what you did, reflect on it, then you just gotta move on. Like, I don't know. There's some things I'm still holding on to in the past, but at the same time, it's like, what can I do? It happened. All I can do is learn from it. And I feel like that's something people are still trying to figure out because they say they moved on, but it's like, are you really learning from it, though?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say you moved on from something. I could say I moved on right now and still act like this.
Yeah.
But then secretly, it's like, yeah, I'm not. Like, it's why, like, I never understood those people who are like, who seem okay after like a month after something happened. I'm like, how do you do this? But then secretly it's just like they really didn't. It's just still there,
and they're not like really knowing how to deal with it. But it's just like you just gotta admit it, like whatever happened was either your fault or something,
both people's fault or whatever, whatever happened. It's just like it's so weird because people are like, whenever like I was sad, people were like, oh, you need to go do stuff. I was like, dude, I played 4 hours of ping pong yesterday. And you know what I did for those 4 hours? First of all, I got my ass kicked half of the time. Secondly, the people I did beat, I was still thinking about the thing. That's just how I am, and I don't know why. I worked on my car for the last month, and put like almost over $1,000 into it. Now the car runs like it's brand new, and I'm still thinking about the thing, and I'm down $1,000. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm still sad and broke.
yeah, I'm still sad. I mean, I got a decent car now, but like,
my car is fire. My bank account isn't.
Yeah, my bank account on fire too. It's burning. It's burning. And it's just like, I never understood that way. People were like, you just need to distract yourself. I was like,
distracting won't do anything except just like push the problem to the side. Like if you put this water bottle here and the sanitizer here, then just move the water bottle. It's still on the table, it's just not in sight.
Exactly. And I thought that was so weird because, like, first of all, I'm good as shit at multitasking. I could do a lot of things while thinking about another thing at the same time. I mean, that's how I prepare everything, except the only thing is I don't prepare is when I talk. When I talk to people, because I could just go off the cuff and like connect to this and that. And that's the whole point. Like, to me, that's what the whole worrying about the future won't change the future thing comes in. It's like, yeah, you don't have to worry about the future because not that it's already set, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you still have to prepare.
Yeah.
That's not, to me, preparing is not the same thing as worrying.
Yeah, worrying is more as like expecting the worst to happen, and it's like you shouldn't be worrying about that. It's like, oh, what if this goes wrong? I mean, it's still kind of, I don't know. With me, I like to like prepare for both. It's like, if this happens, all right, it's like this. But if this happens, we'll do this. But it's not like, oh my God, I'm gonna be stuck here forever. It's like, I don't try to feed into the negative thoughts. I just work through it.
Right. Yeah. And I did that too. I was like, I think that's one of the reasons why I've had so many hobbies and I've gotten pretty decent at some of them, was because I'm more of an adaptable guy versus I have a strategy for everything.
It's
so
like, you go with the flow. Like, what if this happens? Okay, I can figure this out.
Yeah. And like with the whole like worrying and preparing thing, it's kind of weird because I feel like people don't want the anxiety of worrying, so they just don't prepare it at all. But at the same time, you still have to prepare a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know what the outcomes are at least.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, it's going to be this or I don't get it. And it's like, well, it could be, what if you do get it? What are you going to do then? Exactly. You didn't prepare for that. You know what I mean? You didn't prepare for what after that, you know, or what to do. Or
that's how I felt with my NCLEX when I took it the second time. I was like telling my parents, because they don't give you the score right away. You have to wait like 2 days, and mine unfortunately was on a Friday.
Oh, so I
had to wait the whole weekend, and I was like crying because I felt they don't give you a set number of questions. It kind of just depends on how well you're doing. And I had the whole 256 questions.
Oh my God.
So like I was on that border. That's basically what it means. I was in that middle. It's like I would be getting some right, getting some wrong, and they're just trying to see where I'm at. So, you know, that frustrated me, and I was scared because that happened to me last time when I failed it. So of course all that anxiety was there, and I was like talking to my parents about it. And then I was like, what if I don't pass? I was like, well, you just got to keep working. I was like, I know, but that's embarrassing, staying in food service for another 3 months, because it takes like months for you to like reschedule those exams. So I was like, I mean, I kind of just prepared for the worst. But if I did pass, of course it's going to be smooth sailing. I just got to apply for a job and then go from there. That was the easy part. But like preparing for the worst, I feel like that was horrible. Just like, oh, I'm going to be in food service again. But I mean, it is what it is, though. It's like, if I failed, that's all I got to do. That's all I can do. I just got to take it again.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never knew that the question limit, like, there wasn't a set one.
Yeah.
It like changes with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would give me so much anxiety. I'd be like, wait, that person's done. They probably only had like 40 questions. Why do I have like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the minimum you can take is 75. Like, I had.
That's insane. Then they get 256. You said that's.
Yeah, and the problem is like, because when I took it with my classmates last time, one had 75 passed, the other one had 75 but failed.
Oh shit!
See, so you really don't know if you
they
pass.
Just throw you in there, man.
They kind of just like, good luck.
They throw you in there like the tuning exam. You know what I mean? It's just like, do something.
I was like, shit, I don't know what to tell you. That's why I was like waiting for that score. That was horrible. I was like, man. Oh my God. That's
insane. But it's great that you passed and you got your job and.
Yes.
Now you just gotta do that for the rest of your life.
Rest of my life. Like, bedside nursing, love it. No, but
I've never heard a bedside nurse say that ever.
Like bedside, basically that's what nurses. It's the regular nursing because you know how
Right.
there's like travel nurse, clinical
Right.
manager, stuff like that. But yeah, my parents are already talking to me about my masters, and I'm like, y'all, I just got the job. Can
Yeah.
can I breathe for a second?
You're gonna be a super bedside nurse, you know what I mean? Like,
With more money.
with more money, at least there's more money.
Oh
Like,
my god, this reminds that yeah. So I don't know if you saw my tweet.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
All right, I'm
I
gonna
saw
bring it
that.
up again.
Good.
No, I got so not that I got mad. It's just like I'm more frustrated. It's all you can already tell. This is mostly from Filipinos too.
Yeah.
It's just whenever I told everyone that I'm gonna be a nurse, they're like, "Oh, that's great. You'll get more money." And I'm just like, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I like the job too. Like that's why I picked it.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I like what they do. Like personally, I like blood draws. I don't know. It's just pretty cool. And I'm like, wow.
You're
I
just
don't.
like, nice.
Yeah, exactly. Like, ooh, look at that red. Yes.
Got it.
But yeah, it's just like I don't know. It just makes me so angry. That's like the focus on everyone. It's like, oh, more money. You can get more money with that. I bet your parents are proud because you're getting more money. I'm like, what? No. I mean, yes, money is money. I can't deny that. Like, it'd be nice to have more money. But, like, going throughout my clinicals, it's like the fact that I don't know, I have compassion for who I'm helping. I like to help people. I like to save lives. I like to make an impact. That was my focus on that because I don't know what fueled me was whenever I helped patients, they would tell my instructor like by name. They would like tell them by my name. Like I can't even think of the word right now. It's on the top of my head, but I can't think of it. But like even to the hospital coordinator, they told her by my name like, oh yeah, this young girl named Abi, blah blah blah, she helped me. And like I got that not a lot, but it's like enough for me to be like, wow, I'm actually like helping these people are actually appreciating what I'm doing for them.
Right.
So it's like that's what fueled me on doing better. It's like, oh my god. And then it's like one big thing, I don't know if I really told anyone this. The reason I got into nursing is because my dad's health, it's not like it's so bad, but the past few years he's been having like stroke symptoms. He hasn't had a stroke,
right. But that's already
knock on
leading
wood.
up
Yeah.
to
like he would already feel the left side of numbness. Like there were times like here and in Japan where we had to call like 911 just in case because he was like fainting and all that. Like his face was kind of drooping and we are like, okay, we don't want him to have a stroke.
right.
So it's like I want to be able to take care of him. That was my main reason of becoming a nurse. Like money was not a thing. I want to be able to take care of my dad, my mom, even my sister when she gets sick. It's just taking care of people. And that was like, so once people start mentioning money, that's just such a pet peeve of mine. I was like, oh yeah, the money is great. I'm like, yeah, okay, but what about everything else? Because in nursing school, it's not going to be about the money.
Right.
Once you start seeing like what you have to study and stuff, that's when you're like, what is it called? Your motivation kicks in. If you're just doing it for the money, you're going to drop out within like a couple months because that's what happened to some of my classmates. They were saying, oh yeah, I'm just doing it for the money. They dropped out the first semester. So I was like, if you're not serious about nursing and what it comes with, or like the not even the good side of it, like the deaths, the diagnosis of like cancer, like especially like all that sad part of it, then you won't be able to make it in the field.
Right. It's kind of interesting because like about your story about you wanted to take care of your dad, because actually when I was younger I wanted to be a doctor. That's like what I really wanted to be for like the first like 10 to 12 years of my life.
Hey, what happened, Reggie? What happened?
Okay, so what happened was in third grade, I mean, I love my dad, but he's always that guy who goes above and beyond, and he likes preparing too, and that's where I get that from. And I get that. So in third grade, on top of my regular homework, I would have to do homework for him.
Oh.
So I would have to do like label all the organs, write an essay
He
about
already
an organ.
got you.
Yeah, and
He got you in human anatomy.
I was in third grade, and I was just like, maybe I don't want to do this.
Shit, I mean, you were only in third grade. What else could you know?
Yeah, and now that I'm thinking about that, I think what I really meant is what still follows me to this day is just I'm gonna be able to take care of people, not necessarily fix them like a doctor, diagnose them, like. And I think that's like I just thought about that like when you were talking about your dad, and I was like, I guess that didn't really translate as a doctor more than it did like me being able to understand people or me being able to understand myself to communicate to other people so that they can understand me. And I think that's what I meant more about like taking care of my grandparents because they're older. Like I still see them once a week, you know, just to check in and see how they're doing. And whenever they need help, I try and help them. And it's just like, it's really interesting because like you said, like with you want to take care of your dad. And I was just like, man, I never understood that until now.
Yeah.
Like, why did I want to be a doctor? Like, because I didn't want to do, I didn't even know they get paid a lot. You know, and
it's just like,
elementary school, you just want to do
this.
something.
Yeah.
You don't understand like the whole money thing. And the whole money thing is weird too because it's just like, yeah, you have the thing is a lot of people look at jobs because of the amount of money, but then it's just like a lot of people don't
realize like what about the work?
Yeah, and not even that too. It's just like, what the fuck do you do with the money?
Yeah,
you could. My mom, not to put her on blast or anything, but like she just started getting paid $40,000 like a year or two ago. And I have 5 siblings and a stepdad, and it's like he doesn't get paid as much as my mom. Not that makes him a less of a person, because honestly, I've seen him go 4 months without a day with working every day.
Oh, okay.
And it's insane, but that's what he has to do, and that's what he wants to do. So I always thought, like, man, like if we could survive off of 5 siblings, off of let's just say $70,000, like, and be happy for the most part, like we all can talk to each other and like, you know, well, I mean, we'd probably be yelling, but at least we're talking to each other. You know?
It's the same with my house. We just yell, even though we're in the same room. We're just like, man, what?
Yeah, and it's just like, to me, that's where I got my whole thing. Like, man, money really isn't anything. I mean, it is to survive and to get what you need. And
I mean, it can fix most problems, honestly.
No, it can, but at the same time, it's just like,
once you have all that money and all that stuff you need, what else? Like,
yeah, because I've seen people who make like twice as much as my mom and my dad, and they're still just as broke as I am. And I'm like, yeah, boy. And my mom's food tastes better because you don't know how to cook, so you just buy microwavables all the time. Fuck you.
You got nice things, but guess what? At least I'm fed.
Yeah, like we got values. You know what I mean? Like, because like I mean, it's so funny because like just to put that on the lighter side, like I would go to Taco Bell or whatever with my friends, and the people who had money, man, they get whatever they want. Like you know, they get like a $10 meal with like what a chalupa and like two tacos, and I would come out with my $5 and buy like 5 things, and they were like, "How did you get more?" I was like, "You got to be smart, man. Yeah. Dollar menu. I mean, it doesn't taste as good as the other thing, but dude, I'm gonna be full and have dinner.
Know your value.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's smart though.
Yeah, because like it's just weird the way our money just kind of sometimes just disappears. Because like I remember I went with a friend to get a drone because he just wanted to play with one, and it was like $70. But I remember reading the sign it's like on sale for 40, and I looked at his receipt and I was like, "Yeah, you paid 70." He was like, "Oh, did I?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, how much is it?" I was like, "Did you not look when you got it?" He was like, "No." I was like, "It said 40." He was like, "I'm kind of lazy." I was like, "Man, fuck this." I had to grab the shit. I was like, "Yeah, I saved you $30.
Jeez.
Buy me lunch." I was like, you want to spend your money like that?
Might as well.
Give me the $30. You know what I mean? I'll get you your $30 back and you give it back to me. And it's just weird. Because I'm not going to lie, I've done that shit too. I just bought random shit because I could. I was like, it's like only $20 more. I should just get that. And then when I get it, I'm like, damn, that $20 would have been nice. You know what I mean? Like
shit, I could have got something from Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's 4 things. That's like 4 meals at Taco Bell. You know what I mean? Like, it's just insane because, like, I don't even want to say the older I get, the more I realize, but the more time I'm here on Earth, the more I realize nobody knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, of course not. I still don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I got my career settled and all that, but it's like, what the fuck am I doing, though?
I think this is kind of a bold statement, but I think the most objective people are like parents because they kind of have to be.
Yeah,
they try to be more objective at least. It's just like my stepdad, he just worked like 4 months in a row. Like, does he have to do it? Technically, no, but at the same time, like he has kids.
Yeah, it's like you want to make ends meet. You need to make things work, and I mean, I had to do the same too. Like, I had to work, how many was it? Like, I had to work double shift. So I was working from like 8:30 to 10 o'clock at night, 3 days in a row, only because this person called out. And like I said, I like to help people. And I'm just like, we're already short staffed as it is. Plus, the money would be nice because I came back from my trip. So I need to pay that off. So it's just, might as well. But it's, I don't know. Sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's not. But I feel like in the end, I don't know. It's.
See, that's the whole point of like nobody knows what the fuck they're doing.
I was like, because sometimes I think back on it, I was like, did I really need to do all those shifts? But I didn't mind it because the people I worked with made it more bearable, and they actually like try to work it out with me. Like, okay, you can get these 2 days off because you worked 3 freaking long ass shifts in a row. They were like 15-hour shifts basically. And I mean, it's not like I'm not gonna work those in freaking when I'm a nurse, but I still had to work those shifts plus my 2 other shifts that week or earlier in that week before the person like decided to quit. She didn't even quit. She just did not show up.
Jeez, that's insane.
So I was like, if she doesn't show up, I'll just stay the whole week. I need the money.
Yeah, I was insane too. I remember back in TCC, I was like, man, this girl's like working like almost basically a full-time job and going to school. I was like, man, fuck that. Because like, to me, it's like, I mean, I work a lot more than I did back then, but at the same time, I'm driving for Uber.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I get to choose my own time. So it's a little bit easier that way. But before, like, I would just work like 3 times a week for like 5 hours each day. And I was just like, man, fuck school. Like, it's like I just don't want to do my work. Because to me, if I'm not at school doing it, and I've been like this since elementary school, I'm not going to do it at home. It's just weird for me. And I don't know. It's just like, I always told people that. I was like, man, if I had to actually do a full-time job and go to school full-time, I know a lot of me would just end up being like, man, fuck school, because I need the money.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what happened with a lot of people too. Like, I know a lot of my friends, like, they had to, I don't want to say they dropped out of school, but they had to put school on pause.
Yeah.
Just because they needed the money. Because I was just lucky because my parents helped me with my loans at TCC, and I had the GI Bill, so I was lucky to have that. I don't really have to pay anything. I mean, I still, share the bills in the house. I pay for that at least. But as far as schooling, because that's the most expensive thing for at least people around our age right now. That's the most expensive thing people need to spend on. And I didn't have to go through that. I know one of my other friends, she's struggling right now, and she's barely working only because of school, but she still has to pay off her loans. So she's like,
that's insane.
Yeah, it's hard for her. And I'm like, I'm not saying I'm glad that I didn't have to go through that, but it's like, if
You're
I
thankful.
did, I'm thankful that
I get that.
At least I had this backing. So of course, this is why I'm working so hard to like pay my parents back, because they were able to do that for me.
Right. Yeah, it's just insane. I think that's my workaround of not working all the time. It's just, I don't have money and I don't get to do shit. I mean, I find other shit to do, but it's not like, I don't ever feel like I'm missing out. I feel like I'm missing out more on like small group events that I'm not invited to. You know what I mean? Like something dumb, like,
That's like, damn.
oh, you guys got sushi? Like, that's cool.
Would have been nice.
The sushi sound kind of good. You know what I mean? Like, that's just me being salty. Though. It's just like, fuck. Like, not even that. It's just like, oh, you guys went to go shoot some basketball? I mean, we don't really do that, but that would have been fun to do that.
Yeah, would have been nice if I came, you know?
No, it's just like social stuff.
Yeah.
Not really like, oh, I want to go eat sushi. It's more like, it would have been nice to hang out with.
Yeah. Even being invited, like, even if I can't go, there's like times where I see people always hang out, and I'm like, wow, it'd been nice to be invited. I mean, I couldn't have gone because I'm working, but it would have been nice to
ask.
Let me know that I matter, you know?
I used to be annoying with that in high school. Shout out to Daniel, because he used to hate that shit. Because I used to be like, "Yo, TFTI, bitch, fuck you, TFTI."
Oh my god, a lot of people do that to me, so I can't really say much because I'm always somewhere. Because I don't know, I'm always like, traveling, doing something. But it's like, it's not that I don't invite them. It's more like, I haven't talked to you in like 3 years.
Right.
Why the fuck would I invite you?
Right.
Oh my god.
I mean, I still feel that type of way. Not gonna lie about certain things, but at the same time, like, I mean, it's not just random ass friends or associates. It's just like my close friends. It's like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, I felt that way this past weekend. I saw all my girls go to this Halloween party. I'm like, wow, y'all didn't invite me. I mean, I couldn't have gone.
Right.
But
It would have been nice to ask.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, shit, I like Halloween.
I like
I want to
dressing
dress
up.
up. Yeah.
Come on now. I mean, I probably wouldn't have went. I would have been like, oh, sorry, y'all can't go because I work. But it would have been nice for the ask.
I always wanted to hit someone with that because before when I used to do that, I'd be like, TFT, I'd be like, oh no, you can come. I was like, no, I don't want to come anymore.
He's like, no, you didn't ask beforehand.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I was an ass when I was younger, and it was just like, you know, it's just so weird seeing everyone either not grow up or grow up in a weird way.
Yeah.
I don't even like saying grow up, but you know, change. Like not change in a weird way. The way I know that people really understand themselves is like, it's not that they made a drastic change to who they are as a person. It's more like now they're more refined.
Yeah.
As a person, you know, it's like they worked with who they are, and there doesn't have to be a big, you know, psychological change or personality change. It's more like they just more accepting of who they are. It's kind of weird because I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm like that, but it's like I never really felt like I've changed, even though I live with myself every day. It's just like I never was like, oh man, I really this way about this thing. And then now I'm like really the opposite way. It's just more like I've kind of just added more things and let go of certain things.
Yeah.
Instead of like literally just like you've seen people, they kind of just go through this personality change either through trauma or new friends or something. And it's just like, wow, you're not like that.
He was like, who are you?
Yeah. And like it's so sad because like that eventually becomes their quote unquote personality, even though it's really not. It's just that's something they adopted.
Yeah, probably picked up from other friends or
who they felt like they needed to be or whatever. And it's just really insane because it's like, man, you're gone. Yeah. And eventually you'll come back, but it's just...
It's not going to be the same.
Yeah, you're going to feel weird when you do. And that's why it's like, to me, my whole thing about like with friends and actually anyone in general is just like, you know, who are you?
Right. No, that's how I was feeling.
Why are you? Yeah.
No, I was going through that during the summer because, like I said, 2 years into nursing school, I mean, I still hung out with my friends and stuff, but it's like, it wasn't as like a daily basis like it was on TCC. Right. And I was always studying, working, or sleeping. That's all I ever did. And then finally coming out of this NCLEX, because I was still studying for that, I'm just kind of like, what am I doing with all this free time? Like, I mean, I still hang out with my friends, but it's like for me personally, like I forgot what my hobbies were. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm like into. I'm going back into things that I used to like though, but it's hard finding yourself again because I couldn't remember what brought me like peace when I was stressed. All I did was study. That's all I've known for the past 2 years. So it's like that was part of my routine. Now that my routine's completely changed, it's kind of like, who was I before all that? And I actually had like this, what is it called? Not a moment, but I was talking to one of my friends, VJ, the other day, and he noticed there was something off about me. And then, because like I said, there's stuff I did that I wasn't really proud of. And then actually just like a couple nights ago, we were talking and he kind of called me out on my bullshit. And he was like, you know, this happened 4 years ago too, right? And then I was like, shit, did I really change? Am I still like the same person? I mean, I might have changed like looks wise or like, I mean, I'm getting my shit together, but emotionally or mentally, did I really change? So it's just a scary thing because for him to point that out to me after 4 years and it's like, you know, you're doing the same shit again. And I'm just like, am I going back to who I was before? I don't think so at all. Or am I really changing, but I'm still holding on to like bad traits that I still need to work on? Like, it just makes me think about like, oh shit, I really need to focus on what I'm like now.
See, and that's the thing is like, I feel like there's nothing wrong with you. Like, a lot of people think that. They get scared from seeing not even just something negative about themselves from a long ago, but even sometimes something positive because they don't want to be that person anymore. But this is why, like I told you before, like I was going to name this podcast Who Am I, but I thought it was more appropriate to name it Why Did I name this? Why I am. Yeah, why I am. And it's because honestly, that's kind of the thing I'm talking about. Is like that's the thing that doesn't necessarily not change, but that's the hardest thing to change about someone is why you do things.
Yeah, so that's why it's like it was a wake up call, and I'm just like, and of course this is like a trait that will probably affect me in the future too. So it's like, how am I gonna work on this now if I couldn't change it 4 years ago and I still haven't changed it 4 years after? Well, in 4 years' time, will I still be the same person?
Yeah, and that's why I think like it's really good to understand that. Not necessarily you have to hate it so much that you want to completely avoid that, because then you're gonna be so focused on not doing that one thing, it's gonna cause you so much anxiety to avoid that. It's just more like I said, it's the why. It's like understanding. You got to get that answer from yourself to know why you did that or whatever. It's like, because in case if it does happen again, then you'll know. Or if you start to see signs that it's happening again, then you'll know.
Like I'll have more, I guess, not I can acknowledge it better.
Exactly. And I mean, eventually it'll come to a time where you just are not even gonna get close to that anymore, because you know yourself. You know why.
I guess this is also like just a scary time. Not really scary, but it's like a pivotal time in my life because everything's changing. Like I'm not in school anymore. I'm about to actually start a career. Like I have to get ready for moving out of my house eventually. Like I got to start doing things on my own. So it's like this is a whole shift in my routine now. Like
you're definitely at that checkpoint. You know what I mean?
So it's like
where it's like now you need to hit the ground running.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's scary because it's like, well, shit, where do I run? They're like, I don't know, just run.
Just go.
Just fucking run. I was like, fuck.
Forest run.
Yeah.
Go home.
Yeah, you don't know where you're going. It's just like, and I understand that too. And see, that's even better that you know that. Because now you know. It's like, maybe that is why that stuff's coming up again. I mean, it doesn't mean that that's defining you as a person. And like I said before in the beginning, it's like most of the stuff is just mistakes. It's not intention, and everyone knows that. But everyone's a little bit too afraid to admit that they made a mistake.
Gotta work on that. It was like,
we all gotta work on
too much self-reflection over here. Let's go to another topic.
That's the podcast. That's probably a good place to end. We've been talking probably for like an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh shit! I didn't even know.
It's insane. But yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have you on again. This is what I'm saying. We'll update where you've been, and this is why I wanted to start this podcast. And the reason she's the first one is because she pushed me. Because honestly, you don't know this, but I thought about this for a while, like at least a year.
Oh,
I was thinking about it, but I was like, who the fuck would I talk to? Where would I have it at? And then I was just like watching podcasts all the time. You were like, I guess you gotta do your own. And I was like it's kind of like that thing, like we said before, where it was like, I'll prove you wrong, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, I literally, you saw, I texted you, I bought everything that same night.
I was like, shit, look at him go.
Yeah, I was like, got these 2 mics, got the mixer, I was like, I got it.
Gotta go now. Gotta get it running.
Just gotta try it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because if this doesn't work out, I'm selling everything.
Shit. Sell it to me. Maybe I can start my vlogs with this.
There you go.
Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should go back to vlogging. Maybe I'll find my purpose again.
Try it. There's nothing wrong with that.
I really want to start that one vlog. I think I told you about it before. It's like I'm going to go to every boba place in Virginia Beach.
You told me about that.
Yes, I'm going to do that. Get their black milk teas and compare everyone's.
You should do that.
Shoot, once I get that RN money.
And that's the thing about people trying to be creative with something. They don't let their imagination fly because they're scared that, one, they don't have the things to do it. And 2, it's not going to come out good. But
see, and that's the thing. It's like, I have seen people use like shitty equipment, but still produce like grade A shit, like cinema shit. Yeah, and people with like, they can buy anything in the world, but if they don't know how to use it, then it's like, it's a bust.
Yeah, and I've also seen people who use iPhones to vlog, and they have like 9 million subscribers, and I'm like, yo, that's insane. Yeah, you're using an iPhone, and it's not even a good iPhone. I could tell.
That iPhone 6.
Yeah, you're using front-facing camera. I could tell. Like
the iPhone 3GS.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's insane. And I'm just like, well, you can do it then. Who cares if it's shitty? It's your first one. That's why this podcast is like this. I just thought I should do it. Do the first episode. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know, room for improvement.
Yeah, like I already thought, like before you even came here, I thought about like, man, I should just get a folding table. And I was like, oh man, why did I buy these arms? You can literally hear everything. Like, yeah, I know you hear that. Yeah. That's why like sometimes I hear you. I saw you like you were intense and you were like this. I was like, it's okay. It's okay. It's our first podcast.
It's like
man.
you can freaking hear that shit. Like,
yeah, I gotta buy carriages. Like, it's gonna be all right. I'm more than happy. Like to me, this podcast was really, really successful. It was great.
Yeah, I was scared. I was like, what if I don't know what to talk about?
No, but this is why I wanted to do it this way because it's just we're just
casual.
talking. Yeah,
this is what we do whenever we meet up.
That's what I want. That's what I was going for. That's what I was going for. Why am I? Why? Yeah. See, I keep forgetting the name because I just changed it. Why I am. I keep forgetting the name because I just changed it yesterday. But I'm sticking with it.
Letters. Just why am I?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Like yai. Yeah.
Or yim.
Yim.
Why I am. Oh, that's kind of cool.
I like that. Yim. That'll help me remember it. Because honestly, I can't remember the name of my own podcast. Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop before we get too deep. That way we can have you back on again, get even deeper.
Get deeper down in the ocean deep.
Oh, jeez. Nah, we're going to start doing that. We're going to end up crying.
Oh, my God. And then with my trauma, just like start talking about past traumas. Oh, my God.
No. Just save that.
It's so funny. I was talking. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to end the podcast.
No, go ahead.
No.
Last one. We got
my friend, because I was telling him, he was like, hey, I'm going to be on the podcast. He was like, you know, we should talk about interracial relationships. I'm like, what? I mean, it's not a bad idea. But I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, because the stigma, blah, blah. I was like, okay, you're right. Yeah, that's smart. So maybe next time I'll bring that back up.
Yeah, we got it. We got you. We got it. We just wanted to get to know who you were.
Yes. Thank you.
A little bit about me.
I am.
So, I mean,
4'11" Filipina.
There you go.
Single but not available. Sorry.
There you go. Not available. You better wait.
Yeah. This girl going places first before I can settle down.
There you go. See, that sounds like a keeper to me. I don't know about you guys, but that's a good one right there. So, like I said, I'm DayWonReg. You guys have seen my sad-ass vlogs from like 2 years ago, but whatever. Christ. This is Abby. You got anything to plug? Anyone to follow or whatever you're doing?
I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I think I'm trying to remember all my like shooter games, like on Call of Duty Mobile, fucking PUBG, Fortnite. I think my username is Abs McFlabs. So maybe you can find me there. But my social media is Abi Mannie, ABIMANNIE. What's that? That's my Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. So
you're already branded correctly. That's crazy. Yeah. If you ever do that boba thing, I'll put it in the link and we'll do everything. So
yes, I'll hit you up whenever I'm free again, then you can be in my vlog too.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds like a deal. So all right, I think that's the end of our podcast today. See you guys later.
Stay hydrated.
Yep, of course.